Hello and welcome to this very special show that we're doing at Network 18. This is part of Network 18 and Reckitt's Mission Swachhta and Paani, as you see here. This is a campaign that's very close to our heart. And we are very excited to put together this special show right here in Davos and at this lounge that was inaugurated by ma'am, the We Lead Lounge, which is all about empowering women. Smriti Irani ji, thank you so much. The union, a round of applause for the Minister for Women and Child Development. We also have Sonali Khan, the Managing Trustee of Sesame Street Trust India. But before we head to the discussion, we'd like to give you all an overview of Mission Swachhta and Paani. It's an award-winning campaign. It won the President of India Award.
सोचो तो क्यों है आज सहमा सहमा पानी ये चुपचाप पानी क्यों
Harpic News 18 Mission Swachhta or Paani aims to reach out to billions of Indians to drive behaviour change on toilet usage and maintenance across India through on-ground partners. Aligned to Swachh Bharat Mission and UN's Sustainable Development Goals, the initiative is committed to work towards raising awareness and mobilizing action that ensures leaving no one behind.
Are you ready to learn about keeping India clean and healthy?
In 2023, Mission Swachhta or Paani Season 3 unveiled a curriculum designed by Sesame Street based on the Sanitation Hygiene Education Framework. A historic moment unfolded as the curriculum was presented to the Hon'ble President of India. The initiative has achieved remarkable reach in Odisha, impacting over 1.6 million students across 17,450 schools and enhancing the skills of 21,900 teachers in 10 districts. The curriculum aims to drive behavioral change and cultivate toilet-appropriate behavior in young children, thereby instilling in them the importance of sanitation for good health. IIT Delhi joined forces, offering experiential learning with diverse multi-sensorial assets, nurturing concrete understanding among children. The innovative Swoosh Germs Away kit has been designed in alignment with the National Education Policy and National Curriculum Framework. The Swachhta curriculum is based on 3 key pillars: access, usage, and maintenance of toilets, and driving behavior change. Mission Swachhta or Paani's mission is creating a healthier and cleaner Bharat and driving conversations that will lead to hygienic sanitation practices.
We will make sure that everyone can be a part of this clean and healthy world we are building together.
Mission Swachhta or Paani. Healthy hum jab saaf rakhe toilet hardam.
The role of women in achieving some of these sustainable development goals with respect to sanitation, healthcare, education.
I think that what is fascinating is that in our democratic history, we've never had a gender inclusion fund in education. It came first under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, which speaks about a template to fund infrastructure, specially dedicated to education of women. One is that. Second, I think that the health schemes of Prime Minister Modi, everybody in the WEF is a bit taken aback by the sheer volume of people that we serve in our country. 440 million people who receive the benefits of Ayushman Bharat, of which there have been 62 million hospital admissions. And 48% of the beneficiaries in those hospital interventions have been women. There are areas which were taboo from public speech, which is cancer of the cervix and cancer of the breast. 270 million women have gotten themselves screened. And for those who are into oral hygiene, there's been 360 million screenings for oral cancer. So toilets and teeth.
We in Sonali?
I think when you look at women and hygiene, it's been a long journey for all of us who have been working for women's rights for the last 2 decades. And we are obviously standing on some really strong shoulders as well. I think what we are witnessing here, whether it's the access question and also the change in the narrative, because it's not, even if access was there, people didn't step out boldly and speak about these things. But now that has changed. And that's going to change the narrative. And women are now demanding this. So that's also changing the narrative.
What I like is that the men, especially the gentleman leading the government, is actually driving that narrative.
Absolutely.
In the history of geopolitics and global democracies, never has a prime minister of a country on Independence Day stand at the ramparts of the Red Fort and tell families that sanitary pad is available at 1 rupee. That's never happened.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was telling her. We have never seen toilets being mainstreamed.
Exactly.
And that started, with the government. We have never seen menstruation being mainstreamed, awareness being mainstreamed. So I think the government has certainly played a...
Yeah, and the fact
that you're discussing this in Davos. These were not conversations.
Yes. But such vital topics.
And they're happening here.
And also, you remember, children sometimes stay invisible in these conversations. Now, children are center stage. So we used to always say that if women come in, children will also come in through the door. And that's exactly what's happened.
And I also feel that in the sanitation movement, Prime Minister has found that some of the best ambassadors have been young children. Absolutely. There have been instances when parents, especially during COVID, have found children running about suddenly. And I know one such instance where the parents said, "What are you doing?" The kid says, "Cleaning up. Don't throw anything outside. Modi said so." So which means that they've become the engine of change. And as Sonali says, if you inculcate that behavior at such a young age, then it stays forever. Because if you say that to, let's say, a 20-something, 10 years ago, they were chucking garbage always, everywhere. And now suddenly you have people walking up and saying, keep your cities and your streets clean.
So that is the whole plastic movement. It's been led by kids. Children were the first to say, don't take plastic bags, carry your own bags for marketing. So kids can play a big role. And I think that's why we believe that whatever we do in this case, whether it is good behavior, responsible behavior, if you inculcate it, it's a lesson for life. And that is transformative.
Bhashini is a fantastic innovation. We've done so many stories on how this is such an amazing AI tool from India. So tell us about how Bhashini can be leveraged for social causes like this.
Bhashini is one of the first AI tools that has been leveraged by a head of government in a conversation with our citizens.
Prime Minister during Modi, the Sangamam.
Yes, Prime Minister Modi using Bhashini to speak and deliver it
Tamil.
Simultaneously in Tamil. That no politician in the world who's functionally right now in an officiating position has used his political capital, his or her political capital, to tell the world that AI need not be a scary thing, that it can help bridge the communication gap.
That AI can be a tool for social good.
And the fact that we are leading the chair on the Alliance for Artificial Intelligence also gives us an opportunity when we speak as a nation, courtesy Prime Minister Modi, that we want to create a social impact of responsible use of AI. This can become one of the greatest cases for how AI can be leveraged, let's say, for sanitation and children.
How do we, as children are also looking globally, how do we equip them? How do we build them in such that today, as you're saying, we are so proud to be here at Davos. There are so many who are going to be here year after year.
That is the other story you should tell your worldwide audience.
Yes.
That India is the only country that could take the message of children and sanitation to where the money walks.
Absolutely. In fact, I was telling that this is super because we have money control talking to us and not some.
She's controlling money and outside money.
It's not another development show.
Money, that much I can tell you.
But let me just contextualize this a little bit, Chandra.
Yeah.
We've had the hand wash series supported, like you have one, Harpic supporting this, which means that when corporate weighs in on issues of social relevance, you can create templates. Now, why did I talk about that brand and that initiative because no other corporate giant took it forward. So can you also create or devise a mechanism where others as industry leaders, it's like a button. Once one is done, the other takes over and says, fine, if you've exhausted your means, let's take your learnings, your concepts, and then take it forward because everybody is well-intentioned and wants to do for the greater good.
Ma'am, this is my opportunity.
And everyone has
No, this is my
budgets.
opportunity. I'm
and
sharing
everyone
a
has
platform
CSR
with
budgets
you.
that they are supposed
And
to
I'm
use.
going to ask you that question is, can we partner in whatever way you want, ma'am? The template, the curriculum, we are
If you
happy.
can, let me just give you this.
Yeah.
If Chacha Chaudhary, Shambhu Shikari and everybody in the Indian diaspora is getting an equal stance, then I may consider it. As long as Amar Chitrakatha is also not left behind.
No one will be
Can
left. Yeah.
We are building here a coalition of investors and I'm happy to see that my day ends with trying to create a coalition of cartoons.
Why not? Why
That's
not?
actually a great idea.
It is a great idea.
coalition of
You know, it's actually, honestly, it will be quite dynamic.
you can create
We can.
a coalition of
Let's do this.
cartoons to inform sanitation for children better.
Let's do this.
Let me add another layer to it. Make sure that the coalition of cartoons also serves the principles of good nutrition.
No, absolutely.
Then the
they go
coalition
hand
of-
in hand.
So
They
let
go
me give
hand in
you a
hand.
third layer.
Okay. The challenge goes up and up.
If you can create the coalition of cartoons, we can look at it also informing children about respect for elders,
Yes.
dignity of women. There are many messages that we can do.
No, we can do this.
So while we are busy trying to create the coalition of investors for India, you create the coalition
Let's
of
do
cartoons.
this. Let's
And
do
she's
this.
given you a full stack approach.
Yes,
as
full
the
stack.
technologists call it.
Oh, I love this.
Start with sanitation, nutrition,
Begin
build on
nutrition
top of
and
that
let's
behavior.
look at behavior. And
So I think that, I don't know whether this is rolling or whether this is live. If you're the one Indian who loves cartoons and wants to help children and the message of sanitation, homegrown messaging, I'm sure your channel will be more than happy and inform us. Why not?
no, this
This
challenge
will be one of the most, I think,
it'll be very innovative and it'll be new.
takeaways from Davos. I
Yes.
don't
And
think
we'll be happy
the
to
World
partner
Economic
with-
Forum had even imagined this.
Yeah, that while we're bringing different kinds of other forces together to solve the big problems from all the poly crisis, we're going to bring all the cartoons together. Indigenous, local, with
And we don't mind
strong
partnering
messaging.
with a coalition of cartoons
No,
or whatever you want to call it. It can be the World Cartoon Forum.
If you call it the coalition of cartoons, it might not be very prudent for politicians to be seen with it. But from a perspective of children, I'm more than happy to support it as long as you get the message of sanitation through,
Absolutely.
nutrition through, respect for elders through, and why not? One day they'll speak for Viksit Bharat.
Yes. I think this has been such a fabulous moment for me, and I've just come here especially for this, bringing this message. It's just such a moment of pride to be here, as you're like saying, as a woman, talking about sanitation, bringing our voices.
And doing it for the
yes,
kids.
And having a positive narrative to tell the world. I think that's fabulous.
I don't think she expected it. And I'm
Money
happy
control's a little shaken.
I'm happy to shake up those who control money.
Ma'am,
Oh.
I have to tell you, one of Money Control's central messaging is MC Bullish on India.
Oh.
That is our campaign, and the Prime Minister has also tweeted it. So I can tell you, we have been bullish on India. We are always bullish on India, and all our interviews reflect the same.
I'm happy that you've expanded that universe and you have said that you're bullish on Indian cartoons and their capacity to deliver.
Right. Ma'am, as we sort of come to the end of this discussion, I also want to understand from you, what else can the private sector, the social sector do to support
it
the
forward.
government? No, apart from...
No, I'm saying the government has adequately had resources at its disposal. If you hear the Prime Minister's stance, COVID or no COVID, he has said that no social sector will be ever in want of money. So resources for governments in the government of India are not a problem. I think what you need to do is create not only the coalition of cartoons, but also a consciousness in the industry that just because a particular brand begins a movement, don't let the movement die if the brand leaves.
The mission has to stay forever.
The mission is beyond the brand.
Mission must live on.
The mission is larger.
And I
that's
think
what we
industry can sit together and say, okay, fine, I will only have this journey this far, and now pick it up and take it forward.
And
at least on some segments of engagement, sanitation, women and dignity, take it forward.
And they certainly have the CSR budgets to do so.
I think it's not about budgets. It's about intention. If you have the intention, you make the budget.
Also, you can stretch the budget, as I say. As all good NGOs have learned that you need to stretch the budget as well. So you get the budget, but also stretch it.
Right. Ma'am, I'm going to let you have the last word on this. One of the most hardworking ministers I've seen walking up and down the promenade, chairing breakfast sessions from 7 a.m. in the morning. What has your biggest takeaway been from Davos 2024, ma'am?
Women were looked upon as people who needed handouts. What India has done is make an economic case for why investing in women is profitable. In our entire engagement, we have never asked bankers to invest in women-owned businesses because they deserve so because they are women. We have decidedly said, invest in women because you have seen that they use their capital efficiently and that efficiency is 28% higher than men-owned businesses. And the return on investment on those investments into women-owned businesses is 30% higher. Now, with that case and with those numbers, we are trying to now change the narrative around gender. And this is in reflected glory of what the Prime Minister achieved in India's G20 presidency. We know that in some of the most developed economies in the world, when they met, issues of women were just reduced to the sideline for civil societies to talk about. They were never mainstreamed. So India's mainstream gender in G20, India's mainstream gender at Davos. So it is okay to speak about it. We put the money where the mouth was, and this lounge is testimony to it. And what is fantastic is that when you invest in women, we as a gender tend to take the kids along.
Yes. And actually the family progresses as a whole.
Your closing thoughts, Sonali.
Actually, I'll just repeat what I said earlier. Super proud to be here. I, in my wildest dream, didn't think that we could ever bring a toilet mission to Davos and then talk about a coalition of cartoons. So, I mean, if we can compete with
Davos is a place where, you cross-pollinate ideas.
But if I can just finish my thought, I was at the Dome, the AI Dome, and I think we are giving them a run for their money in really some innovative future conversation.
If you can manage to build this coalition, who knows, next year you may have a dome.
Okay. So good.
Thank you both very much, and thank you to our audience as well.